Hey Christ Church, my name is Kevin Siddle. I'm the Director of Adult Discipleship, and I'm here with my good friend Doug Grohmann. We are going to start this new video series on testimonies. Pastor Shane has a really good saying that, he believes that a church is full of our stories. That's how you start to become ingrained into a church. That's when you start to get personal. And so we thought it would be fun to bring one of our celebrities in a Christ Church and help explain his story and what that means. He's already laughing at me.
Yeah.
So if you don't know Doug, Doug is amazing for many, many, many reasons. Doug has incredibly influenced my family. He's influenced my children in some really powerful ways. He's taught them scriptures, and he's such a natural encourager and full of joy. It's ridiculous. And so with all of that, I'm going to build you up. We'll pop your balloon later. But Doug, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Kevin. Good to see you as always, my friend. It's been way too long. So thanks
It
for
has
having
been.
me. And as always, thank you for the unnecessarily overly kind words because you're someone I look up to. So thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, man. So what all do you do at Christ Church? I
Um,
see it constantly. I just don't always know what you're doing. So what
half the
what are
time,
you involved in?
I don't. Currently, I'm with the Highway 252, which is our 4th through 6th graders, our tween
Awesome.
ministry. I've been serving at 9:30 with the 6th graders. And then Sunday nights, we serve 4th, 5th, and 6th graders also. And then occasionally help out on Wednesday nights. And as we've been kind of having to settle down with our lives, I've been doing a lot of prayer to see where the Lord's going to take me and what age group I think I should be at when we come back. I
Awesome.
also just wrapped up I think the last church event was Upward Sports, which is our basketball and cheerleading ministry. So I think that was actually the last event that happened at Christ Church before everything kind of got shut down.
Yeah, I had almost forgotten about Upward Sports. Upward is awesome. It's a great way for kids to get involved in youth sports without some of maybe the overtop competition. Is that a good
Yeah.
way to say it?
Yeah, it's when we practice the basic drills and the cheerleaders are awesome, but you spend just about as much time on practicing as you do talking about the Lord after practice. And they're rewarded stars for sportsmanship and effort instead of scoring the most baskets and different things like that. So it's definitely a good way to connect kids to Christ through basketball or cheerleading.
Awesome. So now here's where we get into your story. So my guess is you haven't always maybe been this committed into serving in a church or something like that. So how did you grow in your faith? What did that look like when you were growing up, compared to where you're at now?
Growing up, we didn't go to church. My parents, they're great people. They just didn't believe in the Lord. They weren't connected. Every time we went to Tennessee to visit my grandparents, we would usually stay on that Sunday, and Grandma would make us go to church.
Yep.
So, and it was your traditional church. You'd sat there, you know, you would sing hymns. People, the kids were miserable. Let's be honest. There was no kids ministry. Kevin, it was bad. So
Yeah, sit down, be quiet.
I didn't have that, that anyone speaking to me and kind of showing me, how amazing our Lord was. And actually, until I was almost 40 years old, I never went to church.
Yeah.
I had previously done coaching, so I've always been kind of connected to kids, but it was just through actual just sports and not through the Lord. So when I was 40, my sister and her husband had two friends, Tammy and James, and we go over to their house, hang out, have dinner. And then eventually, they'd always, hey, Doug, if you're bored tomorrow, we're going to church.
Yeah.
And they kept doing that. And then finally, my sister was getting more invested with serving, and she was taking my daughter. So at that point, she would come to my house, pick up my daughter. I would give them lunch money so they would be gone
Right.
longer, Kevin, so I could watch football. So
Yeah.
I could watch
Yeah.
football. I would get rid of my own daughter. But then, so I kind of felt like a hypocrite, and
Okay.
I started to go.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how long ago was that? You said you were
It
40
was,
when you started.
yeah, I'm almost 48. It was it was late 2013, and the reason I remember is because I remember the date like it was nothing. December 29th, 2013.
Nice.
Associate Pastor Troy Benton gave a speech
Nice.
about John the Baptist and making a joyful noise, and that was it. I gave my life to the Lord that day. So
That is awesome. That is very awesome.
And
So
actually,
go
the
ahead.
best part about it, Kevin, is I remember we were angry because we couldn't sit in our seats. You know how like everyone has their
I
seats? So some
oh
some
yeah.
some family was probably their first time going to Christ Church. We're throwing dirty looks because we had to go to the other end
Oh
of the
no.
church.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, not sit in our seats. And yeah, so we he just and Troy's a lot. He's awesome. He's energetic. Sometimes I didn't always connect to him, but just
Yeah.
for some reason, when you start talking about John the Baptist and how we're all given an
Yeah.
instrument to play, that was it for me. I was in, and I just figured out what my instrument was, and I started to play it.
That is awesome. So you kind of go from a life of maybe outside of Christianity or maybe on the fringes
I would say on
to
the fringes.
yeah, to then okay, getting into Christ Church and then boom,
Yeah,
something big happens. That's pretty awesome. Some people have like a big gradual buildup in their testimony or a big gradual buildup in their faith lives, where other people have this, extreme conversion experience or whatever, and you're kind of in the middle. You have a
yeah,
little bit of both, in
yeah.
there too. So in a lot of ways, though, your daughter is the one who helped bring you to Christ.
I honestly, looking at it, probably more than my friends, because I
Yeah.
mean, I used to smoke, Kevin, before my daughter was born, and
Really?
the reason I
I
quit
didn't know that.
smoking because I didn't want to tell my daughter not to do something that I was doing. So
Yep.
it made it very easy to quit. So yeah, she brought me in. I didn't instantly jump to kids ministry, but I
Sure.
was kind of sniffed around because I knew that's where I was going to be at, you know. And
That's
actually,
awesome.
a quick shout out to Amanda Cates for kind of discovering me and seeing something that I couldn't see in myself yet.
So Amanda Cates is our director of children's ministry. She's over all 3 floors at Christ Church. She's awesome. She has a huge
Yes.
passion for kids, and that makes a huge difference. And so if you are interested in getting in, go talk to Amanda. You can join Doug, have a good time, and serve Christ through our children, which is awesome too.
Yes.
So, okay, so then you accepted Christ in December
Yes.
29th. So
Yes,
then
sir.
what? What
So
happened?
then I was still going to church, and I started to drop off my daughter. I remember some of her early leaders. They used to have these family nights at Christ Church, and they actually showed a Veggie Tales movie.
Yeah.
And so we had pizza, there was arts and crafts. And I remember that we were playing around, I'm sitting around, there's a group of kids. So we started coloring, and Amanda came over and she's like, "You're really good with your kids." I'm like, "Ma'am, I only know one of these kids. I have no clue who these kids are." And she's like, "You've got to do this." And actually at the time I wasn't even a member of Christ Church. And she looked at me and she said, "I don't care." You know, she's
That
like, "This is
sounds
what,"
right.
yeah, she's like, "I don't care. This is what you're supposed to be doing." So took some time, thought about it, prayed on it. One of the first times I think I really prayed deeply for something, and decided to talk to her and Hillary, and just kind of found my way when I started with the second graders.
Nice. That's awesome. And so, well, thank you. Again, for my family, it's huge. We, one other aspect to it is um, having strong male leaders back in with our children is a big deal. Having men to be able to pour into these kids' lives is so important because, it's not to say mothers and sisters and aunts and grandmothers aren't important. They are amazing.
Oh yeah.
We just also have to have both perspectives. And I think that's huge that, yourself and, Colby, you guys
Uh,
take on the task of teaching our kids and showing them love and showing what that actually means. And so, thank you, from
no,
that.
and honestly, Kevin, it does start. I always believe this, and I always say it. It starts with the parents that care
Yeah.
enough about their kids to bring them to the ministry, to the kids' ministries. Because if that doesn't happen, we don't get the opportunity to do what God called us to do. So it starts with all you parents out there. If that doesn't happen, we don't even get the chance to tell them about the Lord and all the amazing things that Jesus Christ has done and is still doing for us in our lives. So like I said, I thank all the parents that take the time to bring their
Yeah.
kids. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's so true. That is a great point that you bring up. We can have the most talented, gifted volunteers, teachers, staff back in the children's area, but if you don't bring your kids,
Yeah,
they're not going
it's
to receive those gifts. And
like no
so,
one watching a great baseball team. Just it's tough, man. It really is.
Well, cool. So on a personal level, how has your faith kind of grown? How has it changed? What has it looked like? Have you hit any bumpy spots, or has it kind of been up and to the right for the most part?
Well, it started off probably like a lot of things. You get that ping, and you sprint.
Yeah.
And for me personally, and we talked a little bit before, is I was doing something I loved, and I seemed like people thought I was okay at it. But then honestly, the other side got in, and I kind of had an ego for a while. I kind of joked with you that my head was so big it couldn't fit through the door. So I went to a Sunday class. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know the word of the month. I didn't know the Bible story. I went through the motions. I faked it. And I had a kid, I won't say her name, but it was a staff kid's daughter. And she called me out. She walked up to me after class. She's like, "Mr. Doug, I wish I didn't come to church today. I didn't have any fun." And one of the first rules, the last rule for Kid Connection, I think it's rule 5, is we kind of stand on the chairs and we scream out, "Have fun." And I didn't do that for that kid. So that definitely was a good check for me. For the most part, it's been a good upward path. Like everyone else, you get challenges. You have to have people come into your life to help you out. The loss of my sister was a big challenge with my faith. I started to question different things and why. But, through prayer, through just talking to my good friends at Christ Church and spending time in the Bible, anytime I have hiccups, that's the one thing that always gets me through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for the most part, it's been a pretty good ride.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes, especially when we're talking testimony, sometimes people maybe focus a little too much on those big, crazy conversion stories, and we don't maybe give enough due. We don't acknowledge enough the people who've just been faithful, who have taken it on in their lives to accept Christ, to walk with Christ daily and consistently, because that is a huge blessing. I know in my own life, I would much rather have had the faith and the growth, early in my life than later.
Right.
Because, how could things have been changed? Who knows? But, I'm definitely thankful that it has largely been up and to the right. I'm thankful that, you have seen growth, that we do have this family here at Christ Church, and that you're a huge part of that. So thank you, truthfully, for me personally, from our family, and from the big Christ Church family. You're awesome, man.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate it. And the one thing I truly mean is I get to spend every Sunday and Wednesday when we get back seeing so many people do such amazing things. And you're around these people. It just makes you a reflection of who you're around, to be honest. You just mirror what you see. So there's so many people I could thank and shout out to. So yeah, everyone's truly an amazing person. And Christ Church is 100% my family, because I don't know if a lot of people know, it's not like Kai, I and Chloe don't have a lot of family. I mean, it's not like we have grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. It's in this area, and for the most part, who we see, it's the 3 of us. And Christ Church is 100%. I've spent Thanksgivings, Christmases, just any occasion with people from Christ Church, because they're not my friends, they're not my co-volunteers, they're my family, they're the people that I love.
Absolutely. Well, Christ Church, when you get to see Doug next, give him a big old hug, tell him thank you, because as he said it really well, we are a big family, and this is part of our story as a Christ Church family. And so if you would like to tell your story, reach out to me, because we are one big family. We want everyone to understand how they can be involved, how they can just take part in such amazing relationships that God has built at our church. And so, Doug, again, thank you, buddy, and can't wait to see you soon, man.
Kevin, I miss you and your family so much, and all the kids. Just give them all some love for me, and like I said, we'll get together really, really, really soon.
Sounds good, Christ Church. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you soon.
All right. Love you guys.